Hello again. My name is Jiroux, and this is Project 7, what I like to call a string of springs, but really it's a mesh of springs. Um, but yes, this is Project 7 for CS 491 Sim and Game Programming at Oregon State University, where each of these little orange balls have a string sort of attached to them. Really, it's more like a spring, and we will be able to go through that and see how these strings interact with one another between each ball. So I will admit right off the bat here that for some reason, whenever my program starts, the values that we get in the user interface window, which you are unable to see, are not at all what's expected. So for instance, x0 will start at -25, which will be all the way on the left side here, rather than in the center as it would visually appear to be. Now, I've moved it off to the right here and it's all stabilized over here so that way we can actually see it in a stable position before I start finicking around with all the little sliders. But I did want to make this point in case anybody does go and personally try to run my program. The values that are expected, that should be representative of what's in the restart function, is not represented. And I don't know why, and I've tried, this was probably the thing that I fought with the most in this project, is trying to make these sliders actually start at the real representative point that they're at. So this is true for all of the sliders. So the Y0 starts at the bottom, even though it's at the top, and right now it's even at the top, and we'll move that one first so that way you can see the extreme nature of what's going to happen. But it is not situated at 0 according to the slider. It is at the most negative point that it can be at according to the slider. And so when I move that, it'll reflect that. Everything else, including the mass, the spring constant, I guess the damping really, but the damping really wouldn't have much of a visual effect as it's meant to like kind of slow the interaction down between each ball. Um, Gosh, and I've been going on for 2.5 minutes about what's wrong with my program. So just to make clear, the values that it starts with are not the values that are represented in the user interface window. In order to get those values, you need to manually adjust each one, except for Y0. Y0 seems to be just fine if you don't touch it in the beginning. But the mass, the spring constant, those need to be quickly adjusted, and then they will act as they're intended to, and as you expect. So let's start now. I said that the first one was going to be Y0, so we can actually, and you can already see like the X position has changed. I'll do some more changing the X position so that way we can actually see some action. So it thinks that it starts over here in the program. It really starts here-ish, and I put it over here just for the sake of trying to get it parallel with the main line here. And I will also say that DT is turned all the way up, so the time step is going as fast as it possibly can right now. And I have tried adjusting that as well in order to make it go faster, but it seems to break like pretty quickly if you turn up the time step too fast. So let's get started. So the first one is Y that I'm going to show because it's going to really rip it down. So that's what I mean. I barely touched the Y slider, and the Y slider believes that it's at the most negative value, so it's tugging it all the way down. So let's go ahead and bring that back up. I hope you enjoyed that. But yeah, so now we have the string. It's a little bit more stretched now because of how far down it was and how it had to react, and now we have like a little bit of wiggle down in there. So now that this is pretty stretched, let's bring it back together by increasing the spring constant. We'll just increase it all the way so that way it can move a little bit quicker. I'm sorry if you can hear the tippy tappies of my dog's toes. But yeah, so now the spring constant, I've turned it off now so that way it could stop, but we could allow it to just get all the way up there and it will start to do some crazy stuff. We get this lovely little spring action, kind of what you expect from a spring constant. So, and then in order to get it out of this, we'll take off the spring constant, make it relax again. But all of the balls are still together because the mass is 0, which makes sense. If it's massless, it's not going to move on its own. So if we give it a little bit of mass, each ball now has its own little bit of mass, which means that this is going to be lighter than this one because this one is carrying so much weight, and this one is carrying all the weight of every single one. Let's go ahead and slow down the mass so that way it doesn't run off the screen, but I can also zoom out. So let's see, we've gone through x0, y0, and the mass and the spring constant. Let's go ahead and do some dampening. So I'm going to shove this all the way over to left, and it's going to start moving. And I'm going to turn on damping, and you can see now it's going much, much slower. And if I actually turn down DT, you go even slower. It's practically not moving. You can see it moving though, just very small amounts. So we'll turn up DT again. This is the way that it's moving now with damping on. Let's move it all the way to the right. And let's even move it a little down because I know a secret in this program. So let's go ahead and be down here. We'll let everything relax again. Actually, we won't let it relax. We're going to let gravity take effect in the opposite direction. So now, yeah, you can see it swing up. Let's turn down damping. We get that it moves slow. We need things to move faster now. So yeah, now here it is being affected by gravity. Gravity is moving upwards now. We still have 0 mass, but it's going to stretch out. But now we're going to have gravity. We're going to bring it back down. We're also going to bring up the spring constant, so that way the balls kind of come back together, and then we'll relax it. So now things are coming back to a more relaxed position. Let's go ahead and like pick it up a little bit. Ooh, mass is still affecting it somehow. Oh no, 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 no. It looks like it broke. Come on. Okay, let's spring constant this all back together. When in doubt, just stretch it all back. All right. Now if we slow this down. Oh, there we go. Even add a little bit of damping. All right. I wanted to show this thing that I found. So let's go ahead and bring it down and bring it over and more down and more over. And eventually we should hit this object somewhere. I want those balls to catch it. Oh, come on. Ah, there it is. Aha. It's hard to find an object when it's invisible. So let's maybe try to bring, oh, no, it's being caught. So actually, now I'm increasing the spring constant, which you can see on the lower end of the string, but it's being caught by something right here. And so it isn't all stringing up. You can see it fighting. It wants to spring together, but it's not. It's not gonna. So let's maybe bring it back over to the right side because I want it to try to like loop it around like I've seen Bailey do. So bring it over and bring it down. Oh, and bring it over. Oh, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. And up. There's our hidden object. So I know that this wasn't a part of it, but I feel like I've showed off everything else, right? So, yeah, I found a hidden object in the scene. It likes to wrap around it. Um, yeah, and I think I've gone through everything. What happens if I affect gravity in this case now? Ooh, we're getting some weird action right there. Oh wait, didn't increase gravity. There we go. Sometimes you think you grab a slider and then you don't. So it's still being affected by that object. That object is preventing it from slipping upwards. So now I'll let gravity hang again. There it is, it down. And then we can bring it up. We can see it reacting. Let's see, maybe if I increase the spring constant. Now we just get some little wiggle down there. But yeah, I had fun playing around with this project. I wish that the values were what I expected. Oh, it's detached. Yay, it figured itself out. It wiggled out. All right, so let's relax that. Let's increase some mass, let it stretch back out a little bit. And I'm gonna go for the ball again, the little invisible ball. Oh, gravity is still not gravity. There we go. Now things are falling. Okay, and let's stop increasing the mass so much, else we will stretch the spring out so much. And I don't want it to be too long. All right, let's go for it. All right, go like that and go like that. I kind of have an idea of where it's at. There we go. I want to pull it a little more this way. Maybe I increase the spring constant. Allow it to try to, oh no, it doesn't want to. See if I bring it up a little bit. It should be able to relax those other ones just a tiny bit. Maybe I gotta scooch it over just a little bit. Oh, come on. There we go. We got detached. Okay. Detached. I gotta quickly move our way around. And there it is again. All right. Well, that's like 12 minutes that you're not going to get back of me just playing with a spring. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were surprised by the little hidden element that was in the scene. I knew I was when I first saw it, and I thought that it was pretty cool that the string will still react to that object being in the scene. So, uh, yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I believe that this is my last one, at least for school purposes. Hopefully more stuff in the future. But thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.